Hi again, Mark here from Talkingbass.net. This week I'm going to show you a cool little tip that can act as a springboard for experimenting with how you play your bass lines and riffs and maybe give you a little push out of some old habits. So we're going to look at a pretty straightforward bass riff and then we're going to try playing it in a few different ways by combining normal finger picking and hammer-ons. So the riff sounds like this. Okay. I've included the tab for the riff in the lesson workbook, so just follow the link in the info below to grab the download, but I'll just quickly run through it here. So we're pretty much in F sharp minor and we begin on the 7th, the E. So 2nd fret of the D string. So we've got E, F, F sharp, 2nd fret, 3rd fret, 4th fret. Then we move up to the A natural there, 2nd fret of the G string, and then back to the F sharp, 4th fret of the D string. Then we've got a little ghost note. Okay, so you just bring those fingers down a little and just grab that ghost note. Then E to F sharp, 2nd fret to 4th fret D string. Okay. Okay, so that's the first half. For the second half of the riff, play exactly the same thing. And then drop down to the F sharp, 2nd fret of the E string. And that's it. Okay, so both of those together. So that's the notes. Now let's try experimenting with how we play it. So if we look at the first 3 notes there, the E, F and F sharp, there's several different ways we can play this. We could, at one extreme, pick every note. Okay, so I'm just finger picking each note. Or, at the other extreme, we could hammer on all of those notes. So we pick the E and then just hammer on the F and hammer on the F sharp. Okay, so that's the 2 extremes, finger picked and then hammer on. But there is a middle ground. We can actually pick that first note, hammer on at the F and then pick the F sharp. Okay, so we're using a combination of finger picking and hammer-ons. Okay, so pick, hammer, pick, and then back. Okay, so we've got 3 different ways there. Finger picked, hammer-on, and mixed. Okay, so we've got 3 different ways. So why does this matter? Well, let's have a listen to the difference between each of those articulations, and what we're going to do is play them really, really slowly, and you'll really get a feel for the difference when you do this. So let's start with the finger-picked version. Okay, now all hammer-ons. And now the mixture. So notice how when we pick every note, it has more attack, and so we have a little more tension and conviction in there. When we hammer on, it's a lot smoother. But sometimes we don't want it to be too smooth, or it just might not feel right. So often it can be more useful to mix them and get that middle ground. At the end of the day, it's all about getting the feel that we want, and there are often more ways to play something than how we habitually might approach it. Now, if we look at a different riff, like the disco classic And the Beat Goes On by the Whispers, which sounds like this. Okay, in that riff, again, there are several different ways we can play it. We could finger pick every note for that intro. Or we might hammer on all of those notes in a line. Or we could use the mixture. So exactly the same technique as we used in our other riff, you can do the same thing there, and each time it will give us a different feel. Or. Okay, each time it just feels a little different. So, as you can see, this is a really subtle tip on the face of it, but you might be amazed at how it can change your approach to playing bass lines and riffs, and can really make a massive difference in terms of the feel, both orally and physically. So remember, you can download the sheet music and tab for this bass lesson over at talkingbass.net. Just follow the link in the info below, and then check out all the hundreds of other free bass lessons in the lesson map. Then if you sign up for free, you'll also gain access to a huge amount of members only content and downloads. So go check it out, and I'll see you next week.